Welcome to Journey Through the Sea, a podcast about survivorship, healing, and hope. I'm Kerry Postale, cancer survivor and author of Journey Through the Sea. Joining me as host is my partner Joey, who will be helping me guide our conversation as we talk about the moments that shape my journey. In this series, I share the moments that shape my journey from diagnosis to life after cancer, and the lessons that continue to unfold along the way. In the earlier episodes, we talked about diagnosis, the emotional side of cancer, and turning pain into purpose through writing. Today, we're talking about something that often gets overlooked: what happens after treatment ends and what it really means to live life after cancer.
Hello, Kerry. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
And thank you to our listeners. We found out that there's someone from Japan, which is pretty cool. So let's get right into it.
Alrighty.
What did life feel like once treatment ended?
Yeah, I remember feeling fearful a little bit. I think I was so used to my routines. I think I've mentioned in other episodes that I love my routines. And so I was so used to going to treatment every other week for 6 months. And now that it ended, I was like, now what? What happens next? And I think in some ways I was ready to move on, and I was ready to start my quote unquote new life in a way. But I was also fearful of what happens if it comes back, or what happens if someone's sick around me? All those questions that I never really had to think about before. So I was really nervous for sure, but I was also excited. So definitely a mix of feelings. As I was thinking about it, just feeling emotionally exhausted, because you have so many emotions that you're thinking of, and you just kind of want to shut that brain off and just be like, okay, I'm done and I'm proud of myself. But sometimes those emotions just come in. And that is something that definitely happens, when the treatment ends, for sure.
I think that not just with a cancer treatment, but even if you get a simple surgery, doctors tell you, oh yeah, go back to normal. But what is back to normal? You have to readjust to that, and you never really go back to what it used to be. Now, at least 100%. But yeah, very true.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know. I feel like it's like I was saying, your new life. It's like your new normal. And you just have to find what that is. And yeah, like you said, you are never going to go back to what you were prior to cancer. And sometimes that is hard to hear, but I think you just have to be proud of yourself and know where you came, and just, be proud of those moments and be proud of where you come from and where you are now.
Yes, exactly. Thanks. Did survivorship look different than you expected it would?
Yes, for sure. I think when I was, told that I'm in remission, I'm in complete remission, it was very rewarding and very exciting to hear. But I also was like, what does that mean? And it is sometimes there is something called survivor's guilt, I believe it's called, where you're on the other end, but then you see other people going through something, or just struggling with something, and you feel, I guess guilty is the best way to say it. You feel guilty about that you are a survivor now. So it's as much as you feel so proud of yourself, you feel kind of guilty for being a survivor. I have a friend that's going through a different cancer, and her cancer may not ever get in remission. So there definitely is a guilt of that. As we talked about before, I quote unquote had the good cancer, which nobody wants to say that, but I was fortunate to have a cancer that was able to get in remission. And so survivorship does feel a lot different than I thought it would. And I think like realizing that healing takes a lot of time. There are days where I'm like, wow, like I did all that. Like, and I think I have to like take a step back and really like journal and figure out like how to heal through that. Just recently being, 3 years in remission, like I'm still healing and it's still going to take time. And that is a small chunk of time, of course. But it also is a long time too. So just making sure like I'm taking that time to heal.
Yeah, there are milestones. Sometimes it's like you pass that year mark, you did a huge milestone, then you get to the 5 year, 10 year. Again, it all depends on what you had, what you're going through, what actual treatment it was, if it's just a simple surgery or a complex surgery, and everyone's different. So,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
how did cancer change the way you viewed yourself and your future?
Yes, that's a great question. I think, prior to cancer, you kind of have like this vision, like, this is how my life is going to go. Are you going to have kids or get married or, things like that. And then life kind of changes in so many ways. And you kind of figure out like what is your real priority, like what is most important to you, and just what means the most to you and figure that out. I think I also have like a greater appreciation for life. Like the small things like don't bother me as much. Like I used to get upset like if I made a mistake at something. Now, of course, I get a little upset because I'm hard on myself, but not as bad as I used to before. And I'm just thankful to be here, and I'm thankful to have the family and friends and the support like we've talked about before. I'm happy to have the support of you and others, and so it's just really great. And then it's definitely like a different perspective on like what matters most. I want to be a mom someday, and that was a big thing for me. And I thought cancer was going to take that away from me, and to know that it isn't going to is really great. So just like finding your things that you like and finding what matters most is important.
Right. Sometimes like hobbies. You
Yeah.
didn't know you liked stitching or something, and then boom, that's what calms you down from reliving the moments during the cancer treatment.
Yeah,
Things like that.
definitely. Definitely.
How did your relationship with your body change after everything you went through?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I've mentioned in one of the other episodes how um you just like you look different like to yourself, like, and maybe looking in the mirror you're like, oh, I don't like feel the same way, or I don't look the same way. And I think just like being proud of yourself and giving yourself grace and giving yourself gratitude, like your body has been through a lot, so it's okay that your body is going to look different for sure. I think learning to trust like my body again. Like I was doing strength training before cancer, and now doing it again. And I didn't think I would get like that strength back. I thought like it would take such a long time to feel strong again, but like lifting weights and things like that I was able to do prior, and now I'm even stronger than I was before. So that's really cool. And then just like realizing like what my body needs. Like if I need to take a nap, like we've talked about, like if we need to take the rest. We just got back from a trip, and so like we were walking and hiking, and it's like, okay, I need to like take a break or go in the shade, or things that, I mean, I always would go in the shade, but I think like there were things that I didn't have to think about before, and just taking breaks and taking a rest and making sure that you're putting yourself first, and really advocating, like I've been talking about, really advocating for what your body needs, because you're the only one that knows like what your body needs.
Right. A lot of people are are used to go, go, go mentality, and it's hard to say like you have to go through something to understand it. And sometimes that's what you need, like, and your body adjusts, and that's important to understand. So,
Yeah, definitely. Great point. Thank you.
what does healing look like for you now?
Yeah, healing looks a lot different, I think, in some ways. I mean, I've always like been journaling, but I make sure like I actually set time to journal and to process my thoughts and not let the thoughts just like fill in my head. Um, Therapy, as we've mentioned before, is huge. I see my therapist like every other week or every week if I need to. I think that's just huge, and I think everyone should reach out to someone if they need someone. Support systems are huge. Like I've mentioned, I have a great support system with my family and friends. And setting like boundaries, and that's like in your personal and professional life too. Taking those days off of work. Like I mentioned, we just came back from a trip. So like taking that time off because it's important. Um, Taking those mental health days, like taking half a day, like taking some time for yourself, is really important. And that's something that I didn't always do before. And I think that's a huge change in like my healing. And then just like choosing like joy and peace, like surrounding myself like with people that I want to be around and that want to be around me and that I feel support from. That's just like really important to me. So I think like choosing joy, choosing peace, and just having that support system.
Right. Thank you for that.
Mm.
What does strength mean to you today compared to before cancer?
I know this one's like a tricky one, I think, in some ways, because I didn't always like see myself as like a strong person. Um, so now I feel like I am strong in so many ways. And I think I was always like afraid to like ask for help before. Like I'd be like, I can just do it. Like I'll just do it and I'll figure it out, you know? And now I'm not like afraid to ask for help. And I'm just like, okay, I need that time or I need help with something or, I'll call a friend up or call someone up to be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Like, can I ask you for some advice or can I ask you for um, some like support? And just like continuing like forward when things feel hard. I think like just being in those moments and just going through them and keep going. And because like you can do it. Um, Being strong is, mentally, physical, and emotional. So it's a whole thing, but I think anyone can be strong and get there if they put their head to it, and everyone can be strong because everyone is strong.
Yes, excellent point. Thank you for that.
Survivorship is something many people don't fully understand until they experience it themselves. Healing doesn't end when treatment ends. In many ways, that's when a different journey begins. Life after cancer isn't about returning to the person you were before. For me, it's been about learning how to move forward with a new perspective, new strength, and a deeper appreciation for life and the people around me. If today's conversation resonated with you, feel free to share this episode with someone who may need it. You can follow me on Instagram, Kerry_Postale, Postale, for upcoming events. You can also learn more about my story and my book, Journey Through the Sea, online via Amazon. Thank you for listening to Journey Through the Sea. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, share, and join us for the next conversation, which will be our final episode in this 5-episode mini-series.